What is going on, guys? DBG here, and in this video I am going to be talking about what I believe are the best players to use for the 250k tournament, which is coming up on Saturday. I'm going to tell you guys right now, let's be real, 99% of people watching this video probably aren't going to qualify for that 250k tournament. It is a very, very difficult thing to do. Last year in NBA 2k19, between both systems, over 1 million people played at least one game in the qualifiers, and there were only 32 qualifiers. This is one of the hardest things to qualify for in video gaming, is this 250k tournament. Having to come in the top 4 in the world. Not only do you have to win every game, you have to force as many rage quits as possible in as short a time as possible. If they'd done it a little bit like FIFA, where, I don't know, you got to play maybe 20 games over the weekend, and whoever won those 20 games got the most points in said 20 games. But I don't know. This is all about forcing rage quits, and look, I'm going to be honest right now, it is going to be a really difficult thing to qualify for. But what I am going to say is that you don't necessarily need to qualify. Qualifying isn't everything, because there is a free card that you get for finishing in the top 500, and if you win probably 3 games, you're going to finish top 500. So it's not going to be the most difficult thing in the world. And when I said last year 1 million people played, last year it was over 16 weeks. This year it's only 4 competitions, and I'd say there's probably about 20,000-30,000 that'll enter the tournament. Yeah, I'd say about 3 wins will probably get you top 500. 3 wins out at least will get you top 500 at least. But yeah, so in this video I'm going to be going over what I believe is the best squad to use, and not only that, I'm going to be going over the best at different price ranges. So my starting lineup is going to be, I think, the best overall 5 players to use. Actually no, I'm going to go over what I think is the best squad probably to use, and then I'm going to go over what the best like medium tier team around 300-400k is to use, and then after that I'm going to go over what I think the best budget team to use, which is going to be less than 100k. I'm going to be completely honest, if you're using the mid-tier team, you might get top 100 if you're lucky. Top 100 still gets you a fairly decent card. If you're using the lowest team, you should be going for that top 500. Top 100 if you are a really, really good player, but unless you're using one of the best of the best teams, I'm sorry, but the top 4 position will be out of reach. But again, being top 4 in the world at something is not going to be easy. But yeah, so point guards, the best ones to use for this is Derrick Rose and where is he? Gilbert Arenas. A lot of people are going to say J.R. Smith, but I'm telling you right now, J.R. Smith is not he's not even close to being as good as these two guys in terms of like playing at the competitive level. J.R.'s stamina is too low and his ball handling is too low. J.R. Smith might be usable at the 2, but he is way too expensive in my opinion for what it's worth. At the 2 guard position, the 2 you want to use are Ray Allen and Tracy McGrady. Maybe even using Tracy McGrady at the 3, or maybe even using Tracy McGrady at the 30. But these are the 2 best 2 guards that you should use, and they are quite expensive. Well, if you have Ray Allen, you obviously have T-Mac, and T-Mac is very, very expensive. At the small forward position, the best ones, in my opinion, are Larry Bird, followed by, where is he? Lamar Odom. But then again, I think a lot of people will run both of these guys at the power forward position. Just want to see, is there any really good power forwards to use? So power forwards, like you're looking at these guys right here. I'm sorry, a lot of these guys are not going to be that usable. Like you are not going to see, especially because you need quick rage quits, which means as well as being good on defense, you're going to need a lot of offensive players. I don't think you're going to see anyone running with legit power forwards, except for a guy we don't have, which is Giannis. So I am not ever going to suggest to use Diamond Giannis, but just for the sake of putting someone in the squad, Pink Diamond Giannis is going to be the power forward that most people are going to be using. Pink Diamond Giannis is really, really good, trust me. At the center position, from looking at comp players, this guy seems to be the #1 option, Bill Russell. He just kind of, he just moves very, very well. He can also lock people up. He's good in the post. He shoots the ball really well. He's super quick, can guard anyone off screens. And you're looking at this team, and You can pretty much switch any of your small forward, power forward, or center. And yeah, just overall a really nice 5. Obviously, again, I would not use this individual version of Giannis, but the pink diamond Giannis would be in here. Then off the bench, the small forward position. This one, again, I've seen a lot of variation in these type of players, and it is a lot of just preference. So you're looking at the best 2 guards, best small forwards. You're looking at a Zach LaVine type player. You see a lot of DeMar DeRozan's being used. A lot of people would use him. You're looking at small forwards. I think you're going to see Tatum being used on a couple of good teams. You're not really going to see Granger because his handle is not good enough. Hito's handle is not good enough. But Hito is a good card. You're going to see a couple of... I wouldn't be surprised if you see the odd Paul George. But the player I think most people are probably going to run is DeRozan. And then as your backup center, you're going to see one of 2 players. You're going to see D-Rob. D-Rob's really good. Or Hakeem. I think D-Rob is a slightly better version of Hakeem. But Hakeem fits in well. So assuming the players run a 10-man rotation, in my opinion, this is probably the best team that you can use. Except for obviously Pink Diamond Giannis in there. And maybe David Robinson. The rest of them, I don't like. You see a lot of people. There are a lot of really good players in this game that use Penny Hardaway. I only think certain players are good at Penny. I think most people will probably be more successful using a Derrick Rose or a Gilbert. As a backup point guard, it's kind of a toss-up between the 3 of those guys. A lot of people use Penny again for height. And I don't see many people using JR, especially how expensive he is. But these are the type of players you're going to want to use at the very, very top level if you have, if you are looking to do well. So next up, we're going to have the mid-tier team. So this team is going to be, all players are going to be less than, say, 50, 60k. And also it's going to be a case of just trying to build, obviously, as good a team as possible. So your point guards, you're going to be looking at these 2 guys right here. I use them a lot, but there's a reason for it. You're going to be looking at Jason Terry, as well as cheap John Stockton in Kyle Lowry. So John Stockton, Kyle Lowry, Jet, and Rondo are all really similar players. But the thing is that these 2 are the cheapest by a mile. You're going to be seeing, like, these are the most important players if you do want a mid-tier team. At the 2 guard position, to be honest, there's not a lot of great 2 guards at that mid-tier value. So Eddie Johnson is going to be my first one to pick because, again, he's a good player. He's got good shooting badges, got quick first step. He's got clamps and range extender. Problem is with Eddie Johnson, he's got silver steady shooter. But a good 3-ball, good mid-range, good dunk, good handle, and decent speed, as well as being a decent defender. So then I would probably run... this one is, again, it's kind of tough one because a lot of these guys cannot play the 2 guard off the bench. Most of the best small forwards to use are small forwards / power forwards. So small forward position, for this type of squad, without question, Hito Turkoglu. A player that you probably can use here. Actually, no, not that you probably can use. For a mid-tier team, Danny Granger is perfect. He's 6'9", not the best handle, but he can do everything else really well. Shoots the ball well, locks up on defense, and is very tall. Can also go to the basket quite well. Then we have got small forward. I think Butler might be a little bit too expensive for a mid-tier team. I'm trying to think. Butler's really, really good. If you can afford Butler, he's really good. I don't know. I'm gonna put in... I don't know what price Tatum is. Tatum Diamond. Tatum Diamond's really good. If he's way cheaper than Butler, Tatum probably. But I don't know which is cheaper. So I'm going to put in Tatum and Butler. I think Butler's slightly better than Tatum, but Tatum, I'm guessing, is cheaper. So I'm going to put Tatum in there. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But the mid-tier is normally something that I kind of try to dodge as much as possible. A power forward in the mid-tier team is going to be one where you guys might think I'm kind of crazy for this guy here. And it's going to be Marcus Morris. Again, a solid defender, solid rebounder, solid speed, and got decent height and shoots the lights out with range extender. Clamps range extender and only less than 10 KMT. So a fantastic, fantastic card. Then as your other power forward, you can use probably a defender. I like Siakam I like Jaren Jackson. I think there's no difference between these two Jaren Jacksons. But again, if you're on kind of mid-tier level, you can probably afford a Josh Smith. Josh Smith, fantastic defender, not the best handle, even though he has 86 ball handling. He's got really good defensive badges, shoots the ball quite well. Not quick for his steps, going to dunk on a lot of people. Good ball handle, just an overall really, really good card. And he's really fast for power forward. Then the centers position, I think mid-tier centers probably the best bet to go is Embiid and Ayton. Yeah, that's probably what I go for there. There's a lot of options like Karl Anthony Towns, DeAndre Jordan's decent, Miles Turner's good, but again, if you can't afford these guys are probably better. So if you are in kind of a mid-tier budget, this squad right here is perfect. You've got basically you've got 4 elite wings that can all shoot the ball from deep. You've got 2 really, really good point guards that can compete with the best of them. I'm not going to say they're as good as D-Rose or any of the other players, but they can definitely compete. Then you've got Marcus Morris and Josh Smith, 2 good enough defenders that can shoot the ball. Morris more of a shooter than anything. Josh Smith a slasher as well. And Marcus Morris is okay at going to the basket. Josh Smith is quite a decent shooter. So even though Smith is better, I don't know why. I think just in terms of just fit in a squad, Marcus Morris is perfect. And then you got 2 elite athletic defensive post players that can shoot the ball. Ayton shouldn't be a good defender, but he is. And Embiid probably shouldn't be as good a shooter as he is, but yeah, no, this mid-tier team is fantastic. Now we're on to the budget team. So realistically, if you're going any cheaper than this, you're going to have to be a really good player to get even top 500. So in terms of the budget team, we are going to go out with point guard. It's a tough one to pick 2 good ones, so I'm going to pick by far the best, which is Exum. Dante Exum is the range extender badge away from being a top 4 point guard in this game. Probably top 10 to 15, and he's still cheap. 6'6", elite defender, 42, yes, 42 gold badges, including like clamps, quick draw. He's got quick first step and stuff. He can shoot the ball. His release is unbelievable. The only problem is he can't dunk, which is a bit weird because of all people in this game, like there's people that can't dunk in real life, but Exum can dunk in real life and can't dunk in the game. And there's a lot of people that can't dunk in real life that can dunk really well in this game, like Steph Curry. Ball handle is good, passing's good, steal and perimeter defense are good, speed's decent, outquicking's decent, and as far as budget cards go, he is pretty much perfect. At the 2 guard, without question, you're gonna want to get Norman Powell. Norman Powell is ridiculously good in this game, like ridiculously good. When I went 12-0, I had the likes of Lamar Odom, I had Embiid, I had Hito. I had a lot of really good players, but Norman Powell was the standout player in that lineup. He was dominating, like absolutely dominating. Really fast, dunks on everybody, and shoots the ball really, really well. Then at the small forward position, we are going to put in... this is a kind of tough one because there's not that many like good defenders or fast players with clamps at the small forward position. So I'm going to go and put in a 2 guard. Just again for a defense reason, much as anything, I'm going to put in Andre Roberson. So Roberson is a really good defender. He actually shoots the ball quite well with this Evo upgrade. Got 3 ball, good mid-range, good free throw, and again, just an overall solid defender. Interior defense is actually really good as well, and he's moderately fast. However, if you can Evo up this guy, he's probably a better option to 3. It is a guy that he's normally a ruby, but once he goes to Amethyst, it's not the hardest thing in the world to get him up to Amethyst either. He's like a better version of Marcus Morris. 6'10" Keith Van Horn, got clamps, got intimidator, got range extender, got unfortunately steady shooter, which isn't a great badge to have because again it makes you miss a lot of open shots. But a great 3 ball, great mid-range shot. He's actually got decent perimeter defense. He's got clamps, good rebounder, good speed ball and acceleration, and you can probably use him with the 4 if you want, or you can use him with the 3. You can use him either or. And then another player we're going to put in is obviously another player that we used in the last squad for less than 10k. I'm going to put in Marcus Morris. And then at the power forward position, I'm going to put in this guy right here. He's a little, like for a budget squad, he's a little bit pricey. But again, you can often pick him up for less than 15k MT, sometimes less than 10. And 94, 95 overall, Jaren Jackson. Like, Pogo 6 a really good badge, got 23 goals, a lot of really good ones. He's obviously a good shooter, good post game. He's a great shot block of 93. He's got decent interior defense, good rebounding, decent speed, decent lateral quickness. He's also got gold clamps, which is really important, especially if they're running a wing or someone like a Ben Simmons, a power forward. And he can definitely hold zone. So you've got 4 clamps players in your starting lineup here. And to be fair, all 6 of our players so far have clamps. And at center position, there is one standout budget center, like absolute standout, and it's Miles Turner. So a lot of the time when you're looking at budget centers, you can either get rim protectors or shooters and not both. Miles Turner is both. So he's got a Hall of Fame intimidator, post move lockdown, and rim protector. He's also got a really good 3-ball, really good release, really good mid-range. Post game is good. He can do everything you want from a center, rebounds well, is moderately fast, can play decent defense, and is just fantastic. So these are probably, well, to be fair, this starting 5 and Marcus Morris are the best 6 budget players in the game, I think. Off the bench, like really, because you're not getting many other great point guards that have clamps, as well as, like, even if you go up to Amethyst, you're not getting many ones that have clamps as well as range extender. You're getting some that just have clamps, like Dennis Schroeder, Sean Livingston, that are okay. Lonzo Ball, Chris Paul, and then you're looking at guys with just range extender like Devontae Graham, Gilbert Arenas. So it's kind of hard to get another good point guard on a budget. So I'm going to just throw in a player that I think is going to be fine offensively. I think you're going to be fine offensively with Jamal Murray. He's got no clamps, which is a little bit of a downside, but he can dunk the ball well. He's fast, he can handle it, he can shoot the ball unbelievably well. But he's got decent perimeter defense and decent lateral quickness. So if you are able to make a lot of switches and control him a lot of the time, because if you do play just on-ball defense, clamps isn't the biggest deal in the world. But if you just play on-ball defense, you are going to be exposed, because it's not even like, people are saying off-ball defense is overpowered, and it's not, because funnily enough, in a one-on-one setting, playing on-ball defense is actually better than playing off-ball. The problem is that your other 4 players on the floor are always in the wrong position, and it's why you're seeing like the best players in the world. It's only when you're kind of attacking that they'll ever switch to on-ball. Like, playing solely off-ball is terrible. You are going to be exposed if you just play off-ball, but you got to play a mixture between on and off-ball. But you got to focus a little bit more when you don't have clamps, because if you do get caught in an off-ball situation, you are kind of screwed without clamps. But you got to make sure you're controlling Jamal Murray as much as possible. And then 2 guards. So, again, you can probably... What I wouldn't... Actually, this might be a smart idea. So you only have 1 non-clamps player on the wing on the floor. Is bringing Norman Powell onto the bench and playing someone like, in my opinion, the best of all of the just offensive 2 guards that are cheap in this game. I really like Jordan McRae. I really like McRae because I think that he's a fantastic shooter, that he can go to the basket well-ish, a decent dunk. He's also got quick first step gold, which is important. And to be fair, if I could play Paul Pierce the 2, I would. Paul Pierce is nice and cheap. Or at the same time, if you do want a little bit more defense, you can swap. You can start Covington anyway, or one or the other, and then put in Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce is really cheap, and Paul Pierce is a solid player. That's probably a better option, and go with this lineup here. So Paul Pierce doesn't have that high clamps. I think it's only bronze clamps. Bronze clamps is better than nothing. Got a good release. Unfortunately, he has steady shooter, but he's got a good 3-ball, good ball handle, and his overall is a solid card, especially for his low price. And then at the center position, I would put in, on a budget, this again a tough one, but I know it might sound crazy, Mirasan might be the best option, especially off the bench. Putting in a Mirasan, even though he can't really shoot, he is still a giant. So now, yeah, that is pretty much it. If you want to enter the 250k tournament, these are probably your best options depending on your budget. If you are on a low budget, your goal should be getting top 500 to get the free card. If you're in a mid-tier budget, your goal should be realistic. Like, with that mid-tier team, there's no reason why, if you are a really good player, you couldn't make top 50 and get the higher Evo version of the card. And with that top team, if you are really good at the game, that's a team where if you can win quickly enough, you get lucky enough, you have a legit chance of making the final four. But yeah, so anyway, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.